Unconscious, even toxic cultures are creating legions of disengaged, demoralized employees who are unwilling to give their all to their roles. You've heard of quiet quitting, the Great Resignation. Unconscious leaders are at the root of it all. Leaders and managers who are unconscious are, among other things, lacking self-awareness, which prevents them from tapping into the needs and talents of their teams or employees. I believe conscious leaders can convert unconscious cultures by exhibiting and expecting others to exhibit healthy habits that put people first. Today I want to talk to you about the habits of a conscious leader. Hi, I'm Jenny Clark, a conscious leadership expert who spent 2 decades in executive recruiting and talent management. Having worked with giants like Google, Spencer Stuart, I discovered that the secret to transformative leadership lies in the 5 dimensions of conscious leadership. And I'm here to help you unlock your full potential. Join me on this channel as we embark on an honest and vulnerable journey together and become the kind of leader that genuinely inspires organizational transformation. I had a person on my team, Roy. He was new to managing others. He was a very strong recruiter, and as such, I gave him a team of 4 other recruiters to oversee. My goal was to help shape him into not just a manager, but a leader who might eventually succeed me. He had all the technical skills, he had strong EQ or emotional intelligence, but couldn't quite get out of his own way to show up for his team members. They had sort of intimated to me that he wasn't accessible or engaged. So I urged him to look at how he was managing his time. I knew he put in long hours, but I noticed he would walk leisurely from one meeting to another and have his meals at his desk, as opposed to maybe with team members. I asked if he was holding his one-on-one meetings in person. This was before the lockdown. And because I wanted to establish a better relationship with his direct reports. Now, I sat in on several of his one-on-ones, as well as the performance evaluations that he gave them. And he gave feedback well, and I offered him that, but I also told him what he might miss. And over the course of a year, I began to see some improvements in his team and how they reacted to him. Now, during my one-on-ones with him, I gave him all of this feedback, but I also asked him about some of the challenges that I was encountering because I believed in his and valued his opinion. All in all, I wanted to model what good looked like, and I wanted to hold him accountable for those same behaviors. So here's some things that I want you to think about. Regularly assess your own competencies and performance. When you know how good you are or are becoming, you can better determine who you need on the team and even how to develop those showing potential. This is essential for a leader. You've got to have that own level of self-awareness so that you can demonstrate that to the people on your team as well. If they see you growing, they feel more comfortable knowing that you are supporting their growth and development. Speak truthfully and transparently, but edit strategically. Your team doesn't need to be distracted by everything you know, so help them keep their eye on the ball, but earn their trust by being honest. I had to learn this sometimes the hard way because I tend to be very transparent, but I was operating in an environment that was so swirly, shall we call it. There was constant change. It bordered on being chaotic, and I didn't want them to feel that same energy. And so I had to discern for myself and what I thought was best for them, those things that mattered most, and to keep them focused. Some of the other stuff they didn't need to know about. And if they came to me and said, hey, I heard about this thing. Yep, I'm aware of that. I don't think you need to worry about that. I'll let you know if you do, all right? And that engendered a tremendous amount of trust. Demonstrate kindness and compassion, starting with yourself. Humility and self-awareness come when you are comfortable in your own skin. I'm kind of tired of hearing about imposter syndrome. It's time that you start honoring yourself and feeling good. You need to know your strengths and your weaknesses, and you can own both, but enough being hard on yourself. It doesn't serve you, and it can weaken the way that your employees and team members are going to feel about you. If they see that you don't feel good about yourself, don't think that they're not watching. So stop being hard on yourself. and demonstrate that same kindness and humility and compassion to the members of your team. This is a big one. I need you to always be willing to look in the mirror and learn more about yourself. It's this self-awareness that opens the door to a greater acceptance of who you are and how others see you, right? And as people who, like you, seek to be acknowledged and valued. One of the reasons we had the Great Resignation is because people were fed up. They didn't feel like they were being valued. You need to value yourself, and you need to demonstrate that to others and offer them some of the feedback that's going to allow them to build their own level of self-awareness. This is what leadership is all about. Show your team you care about them by wanting to earn their trust and to support their growth as you express your own growth and vulnerability. And this is where Roy needed to lean in. He was around, but he wasn't accessible. People didn't get the impression that he was really there for them. And it's not that he didn't care. He actually did, but he didn't realize that he needed to actually demonstrate it and show up and to be present. We got to remember, leadership isn't about you. This is not what you think is best for you personally or what's going to make you look good. Your job is to develop followership, and that means that you are doing things that are going to be best for most or for all, everyone on your team. And over time, even if not immediately, you will see the benefits of that. So get out of your own way and let the others shine and support them in shining. So here's what I want you to do. Set aside 30 to 60 minutes, at least monthly, if not weekly, to assess your 5 habits. Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being best. Now, what 5 actions do you plan to take to get closer to a 10 or to push to the next level of performance? Write it all down. Here's an example. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. For example, schedule a meetup with someone on your team or in another group to gain perspective on your own reputation. Maybe you offer praise to a team member who might be struggling. Provide some feedback to your superior about how your team is being impacted by a recent reorg. These are small steps that you can take regularly that begin to open the door for transformative leadership. I know firsthand how taking that first step can be the catalyst for a life-changing transformation. I remember the moment I decided to harness my own strengths, and it made all the difference in my career. That's why I created a career mapping tool just for you to help you uncover your unique competencies and leverage them to design your own career map. Take the first step towards your next level by clicking the link in the video description, and let's start this incredible journey together.